I am guided by imagination, open to my creation, creating wins and celebrations. Don't be overwhelmed by information, more important than education. Be inspired by your exploration, on the path to your destination, leading to innovation. Yes, you are guided by imagination.
Hello, and welcome to the Guided by Imagination podcast. I am your hostess, Joyful Jenny, and I'm excited today because I have a very special guest, Jill Lublin. Welcome, Jill.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
So happy to see you. And I know we haven't gotten a chance to get to know each other that much, so this is really exciting for me as well as for our audience. And we met in an online event, and it was like, ooh, yes, I want you to be on the podcast. This is awesome. This is totally in alignment. If you haven't met Jill, she is actually a 4-time best-selling author. She is a media magnet. I love that metaphor. And she's also an international speaker, and she really helps people find their voice and really magnify their message using publicity. So, Jill, is there anything else that you would like to share about what you do and your superpower?
Oh, my superpower is finding the message in your wonderful parts of who you are. And I love making all those connections. That's one of my gifts from God, I like to call it.
Oh, yes, exactly. Your unique gifts and talents. I love that. So beautiful. So, I was curious to know, how has imagination made a difference in your life?
Well, honestly, I don't think you can almost be in business unless you start imagining, right? What's possible. And so throughout my business, I've always imagined some things actually into existence. For instance, I used to say I'm the best-selling author of a book on publicity. And you know what's interesting, Jenny? I didn't know what the book was going to be called. Now it's called Guerrilla Publicity, and it's part of a big best-selling series by J. Conrad Levinson, and we've sold over 1 million copies. That
Woo!
started with, yes, my imagination, imagining, feeling that I was going to be writing a book on publicity. And I think that's sometimes really how things start, is in our imagination, and we create it.
Yes, absolutely. I love referencing the Einstein quote about imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
with our imagination, we create our own reality. And you did that. You're a prime example.
Yes, and I think, most people can. And I imagined my business into existence with publicity and supporting people. And I imagined my kindness circle now into existence. And I think, these are part of given to us. I remember hearing, who was it? It was a famous songwriter. And all of a sudden, I can't remember his name, but he's kind of a folksy songwriter guy. Pete Seeger. Anyway, it might be him. So the point is, he was saying how he got songs given to him. He said, well, I think I dream them and I imagine them, and they're like clouds that float by. And he said, if it's not the right song for me, it'll go on to somebody else who it is the right one for. And I love that metaphor.
Yeah, that's a great visualization too. It's like, you could just be a vessel for receiving the songs,
Yes,
receiving that. If it's in alignment with you, if not, it floats on to someone else.
right, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to imagining things into existence. I feel like I am magnificent manifester because I imagined my husband into existence. I imagined my house into existence and my children.
Oh, I love
So it's,
that.
yeah. I even have some proof on my past vision boards of like, I realized this as I was preparing to move from my little apartment into my house. And was taking down the vision board off the wall. And it was like, there's a picture of my house on my vision board that I put this picture on there, 5 years ago. And now it's happening.
I love that. And I think it is important to stay focused on what do we want to create. For me, that's really important.
Yeah. And related to what you do with helping people find their message and elevate their message, what kind of advice would you give to the audience maybe around that aspect, maybe something that they could even put into place over the next upcoming week?
Well, one thing is, the question for me is, what is your message? And message is a key to putting yourself out there. People, some people go, oh, I have the imposter syndrome or whatever. People get into their heads about they aren't good enough. And I say, you are, you are good enough. And wherever you're at is perfect. And so I think a thing to do is take a baby step to build more visibility now, whatever that looks like. It could be going on to Google Alerts. This is one great thing to do, and put in your name so that when you get publicity, notice when, not if, you will see it. It pops up, right? And I think that that's really important. Plus, in Google Alerts, you could put like one word. So I might put the word publicity or kindness, and then everything related to that topic also pops up, which is great that you know what the media is talking about and what's important to the media in regard to what you're talking about, what you are promoting.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really good idea. That's something super easy.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, and I know you mentioned kindness also. Related to kindness and what you have done with the work in kindness. What's something related to that could kind of weave into this conversation about imagination?
That's an interesting question, because I don't imagine kindness. I just practice it, and I want everyone to practice it. Meaning, people talk about random acts of kindness, and I really want to recommend that you imagine a world where everybody is more kind. How about that for using your
I love
imagination?
that. That's
Yes,
where I was
and then,
going, actually.
oh, I love that. And then what you can do to do that is to do a conscious act of kindness every single day. One, can you imagine if we all did that, one conscious act of kindness every single day, what a different world it would be.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And I know with my children, they're in elementary school and they're doing some conscious kindness activities. And my 8-year-old just last night, she said, Mom, I did 3 acts of kindness today. She was celebrating it. I was like, ooh, tell me, what'd you do? And they were just
Oh,
simple little things, but it was so meaningful to her. And just to
yes,
acknowledge others when they are doing these acts of kindness, I think is so beautiful too. Appreciation, because it's just like getting those Google alerts, like it brings more awareness to it,
yeah,
and it comes to fruition, and it shows examples to us of why the world is filled with kindness. So it's not
yes,
just a figment of our imagination, but really truly what you focus on expands. So if you're
yes.
focusing on the news or the war, the politics, all the things, or are we choosing to focus on the acts of kindness and the love and the joy that we can really surround ourselves with?
Absolutely. And I love that your daughter's learning this in school and doing it. It gives me great hope, really, for our future, that our children are being trained in this at such young ages.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'd love for you to share, how can our viewers and listeners connect with you more, Jill?
Well, thank you. What I did was I created a wonderful action guide filled with great publicity tips and how to get yourself out there more. And on top of that, a free masterclass live and interactive with me so we can talk more, connect more, and frankly, get any of your questions answered. And you can find that at jilllublin.com/free gift.
Oh, I love that, Jill. Oh, that's such a great gift. We'll definitely put the link in our show notes.
Thank you.
And I appreciate that you're sharing this, because it really, people oftentimes have a stereotype about what publicity is, that it seems like there's the dark shadows of publicity. And I love that you're bringing more light to it.
Thank you. And how about the fact that all of us deserve it, need it, and bring our light to the world? And that's the power of what publicity does. It brings your gifts to the world, whatever they are.
Aw, that's beautiful. So, for all of you listening today, I invite you to connect with Jill and see what she's doing and definitely take advantage of that amazing freebie that she has and her wisdom and advice just really coming from the heart. And to choose to do your own Google alert and practice some imagination, awareness, and achieve more joy and happiness this week.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Is there anything else that you want to add?
That your message matters. Each one of you watching, listening, your message matters. Let's get it out there. It's time.
The time is now. Perfect. Well, thank you. And I hope you have an amazing day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
If you want to activate your imagination and creativity and have more fun in front of the camera with your photos and videos to market your business online or share your message to make a difference in the world, I'd love to offer you a complimentary 30-minute inspiration session, a Zoom room that we can set up and chat about ideas and inspiration to make your day a celebration with Guided by Imagination. Click the link in the show notes.